Hi, everyone. Frances Gertsch here from Stewart Travel Group, and I am here today with Neil Dudley from AmaWaterways. Hi, Neil.
Hey, Francis.
All right, I got a test for you. We are going to bust some myths about river cruising in this episode. How does that sound?
Sounds good, because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there are. I've got like 6 or 7. You may have more, but I'm going to give you those to you and ask you to bust the myth for me. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The pace of river cruising is too slow. That's something I've heard.
That's something we hear all the time. We hear the fact that, oh, I'm too young to do a river cruise. It's only for older people. I don't want to knock my lovely coach touring cousins, but a lot of times people think, oh, it's just another version of coach tour. Couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, the age of guests on AmaWaterways go from people in their 30s all the way up to people in their 80s. And it's because we have all of these different kinds of tours that they can do. They're all included from gentle pace right up to more active. You decide what it is you would like to see and do, much like an ocean ship experience. Nobody ever says an ocean ship is boring. It's the same for AmaWaterways river cruises as well.
Awesome. And so let's go to that one. The next myth is everybody who takes a river cruise is an aging baby boomer.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Exactly. Now, let me point this out. With AmaWaterways, that is definitely not the case. And the reason is obviously, like I said, you've got all these different options, excursions, activity levels that you can do. Now, there are some traditional river cruise lines, of course, because you do have those markets. So it really is important to work with, obviously, people like yourself, Francis at Stewart Travel Group, who know the differences between the river cruise lines so they can make sure that you're getting the right product. So that myth for AmaWaterways definitely is not true. So
awesome. You also talked about coaches. So all sightseeing is by bus when you get off the ship and onto a bus and away you go. Is that true?
So basically with AmaWaterways, obviously we're taking you to the hearts of these beautiful cities and towns. They were built along the rivers. So essentially you are certainly getting off and walking into these towns. I'd say probably 75% of our tours are all done right from the ship. Now, yes, we are also able to use the rivers to take us to some stunning cities and towns that are not far from the rivers. So yes, we might take a coach tour to get up there, and then it's walking around there. But, it really is about bringing you to the experiences as opposed to having to coach you from city to city to city to bring you to all these different areas. And of course, with a river cruise, you unpack once and we take you to all these lovely places. So you sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Oh, I love it. All right. So the next one, river cruising is too expensive.
So river cruising is too expensive. Maybe if you are comparing it to your lovely ocean cruise to the Caribbean. Let's face facts, folks. You have to remember the destinations you're going to. The Caribbean is not an overly expensive destination. And when you're on a cruise, yes, you can get a lovely, lovely price. But then let's have the discussion at the end as to what your onboard charge card was at the end. A lot of times it's the same price as you've just paid. Now, going to Europe, much more expensive destination. In fact, river cruising is the most economical way of actually seeing all of these areas. So if somebody was to come to you, Francis, and say, I want to do a week through France, and you have to put together the hotels, the meals, the sightseeing, the ways of getting from one area to the other and such. These are all in euros, going to be a lot more expensive. So folks, think about it up front. Canadian dollars, yes, the price point might be a little higher than what you're used to if you've only ever ocean cruised to the Caribbean. But when you compare it to the destination as Francis can do for you and the whole team at Stewart Travel can do, you'll see it is honestly the most economical and easiest way to see multiple stops in Europe.
And there's a lot less wasted time. Honestly, you're not in train stations and trying to get from place to place. All right. So some people have this notion that river cruising is small, cramped, tiny little rooms. Tell me about that.
Well, again, it really is important that you go on the right river cruise line. Okay. There's 5-star river cruise lines. There's 4-star, there's 3-star, just like in the ocean cruising world. AmaWaterways is a luxury 5-star experience, meaning we have fewer guests because we're providing you with more space in your cabins, more space in the lounges and such. So it's the same as with an ocean line. The higher the star, the more space you have, the fewer guests. And it's really about the luxury of having more, like we've mentioned in previous episodes. So again, it's really much pick the right river cruise line. AmaWaterways is really going to provide that experience so that you are relaxed and enjoying every day on your river cruise experience.
And I never have had to wait in line. There is so much space on board. There's always a place to relax if you want a quieter experience or not. You can go outside, you can be inside. There's just a ton of space. So for me, I wondered about that when I first river cruised, and honestly, it is really not a cramped space, especially with the twin balconies in the staterooms. You
Well,
can go outside even right there, right?
yeah, the
So
twin
really
balconies are
quite
great. And don't forget the Alma Magna. We brought that out really to address that whole space issue. Twice as wide as the regular river cruise ship. So twice as much space with only another 40 passengers. So imagine how much space is on that beautiful ship. So
amazing. Okay, another one. River cruising is stuffy.
so again, this really comes down to people. A lot of times people just assume all river cruises are the same. And it couldn't be further from the truth. It's just like ocean cruises. You certainly have some very ultra high end ocean lines right up to your mass market mainstream ones. So again, depending on the environment you are looking for, you can find the same with river cruises. So you've got some mainstream stuff, some luxury boutique ones like ours, even up to some ultra high end ones as well. But for us, we've really decided to go with that modern contemporary look on board, smart casual environment. So no formal lights and such on an AmaWaterways river cruise. We want you to cruise exactly the way you wish to do so, but still in that beautiful 5-star inclusive style experience.
So during the day, it's, comfortable layered clothing, good walking shoes, all of those kinds of things. I mean, you might be on cobblestone streets or what have you. And then in the evening, it is smart casual or casually elegant attire. And if you want to, on the farewell night and captain's night, you can dress up a little bit more, of course. It's whatever you're comfortable with. And so I find it, I wasn't sure about that because I'm not a very dressy person. I'm a pretty casual person, but I really enjoyed the flavor of dabbling in a little bit of luxury while I was traveling.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, the last one that I've got, you may have more, but you can only river cruise in Europe.
That is not true either. So again, with AmaWaterways and the fact that Rudy is, in our industry, he's referred to as the godfather of river cruising. And the reason for that is he's always bringing out something new and innovative to the world of river cruising. And it's not just in Europe. We were the very first North American river cruise line to have our own product on the Mekong River in Southeast Asia, which is an absolute stunning area because their entire world is still built around the rivers, things that you can only see and do from the rivers. Then we have our own wildlife river cruise experience on the Chobe River in South Central Africa. Again, exclusive to AmaWaterways. And the great thing about this, we can guarantee that guests will always see the wildlife because it's the only watering hole between Namibia and Botswana. So all the animals come to us. We've got a beautiful experience on the Nile River in Egypt. Again, what we're finding is the demand for this area is overwhelming because people want to see it in a 5-star experience, but they also want that full safety factor. And we just announced we're going to be the very first river cruise line to ever have our own product on the Magdalena River in Colombia. And again, stunning mix of wildlife, cultural, and culinary experiences down there. So we're very excited for those ships to come out with us next year. So again, always bringing new river cruise experiences, not just in Europe, but outside of Europe as well.
So 25 ships around the world, 4 continents, all with AmaWaterways. That's incredible. Yeah. Do you have any other myths you want to bust before we go?
I don't know about any other ones off the top of my head. I'm just trying to think. I think we've covered a lot of them, of course. I do love the one of thinking, okay, it's only for couples. Like you've said, it's only for rich people. But folks, at AmaWaterways, families can river cruise too. Multi-generational travel is a huge one. And a lot of people think, oh, no, I can only go on the big ocean lines if I've got kids. Well, folks, it's not the case because, again, AmaWaterways has triple and quad rooms. We've got connecting rooms. So it's perfectly designed for multi-generational travels, families to go on board. And yes, we might not have tours that are designed for younger kids, but this is unique to AmaWaterways, of course. So if your children really appreciate the history of Europe, let's say they're in their early to mid-teens, great. Come on AmaWaterways. But remember, if they're younger kids wanting to river cruise, we are the exclusive partners with Adventures by Disney. They utilize our ships. So families of all ages can also go on river cruises. That is another huge myth that people just aren't aware of as well. So
And last one, can you talk about solo travel? I've got a great group of solo travelers that are interested in all sorts of experiences. And I know Ama offers a solo experience. And solo travelers aren't necessarily solo when they're traveling on a river cruise because it's so inclusive.
No, so we do a couple of things for solos. Obviously, much smaller cruising environment on river cruises in general. So yes, with a lot of the cabins, there are supplements, but it's not double the twin share. And when we do have solo guests on board, we always, the cruise managers ensure this, they do a little solos kind of get together, meet and greet, so they know who the other solos are. But remember, you are sitting at tables of 2, 4, 6, and 8. These are not assigned tables. You sit with different people, you socialize in the lounges, in the restaurants. Solo travelers get to know all the other people. It's very welcoming and inviting. But remember, we've got 4 of our boutique ships over in France, which actually have 2 dedicated French balcony suites on every single ship with no single supplement year round. So there are always great opportunities for solos with Ama. So
I love it. So hopefully we've busted all of your myths about river cruising in the last 10 minutes, which is incredible. Thank you, Neil, for going through all of that with me. I hope you will all fall in love with river cruising as much as I have. And thank you very much, Neil.
all right. Thanks for having me, Francis.